when you look at, for example, the Yungeen Ace and Foolio situation, and I've interviewed both of them, and I've tried to get them to try to squash it, get along, whatever. Ultimately, that never happened. But when you look at their biggest songs, it's the songs where they're dissing their ops and dissing their dead enemies and doing videos in graveyards and digging up graves and just doing a bunch of outlandish, holding up pictures of people's dead brothers and so forth. Those songs are getting 40, 50 million views, and then you put out a song which you think is like a club banger, and that shit gets like 30,000 views.
That's right. It's because
that's the problem I feel that's happening, because it's like, yeah, I don't want to necessarily do this, but this is what's going to get me hot. This is what's going to get me shows. This is what's going to get me reposts. It's going to get me on all these blogs.
Exactly.
So people, I feel, for example, like if you did a song when you left, this interview where you just went down the line and dissed every single person you ever had a problem with, that would probably be your biggest song.
Yeah, most likely. Give or take, most likely. Probably would, but you know what I'm saying? To me, bro, you know what I'm saying? That shit ain't worth it. It ain't worth it, because putting that energy out, you know that, nigga, you bound to die. You're gonna die. Everybody's gonna die in this life, but you gonna die sooner because you putting that energy out constantly. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, you feel me? That's why I don't like going back and forth either, because I don't want to be putting that energy out, because as soon as I do put that energy out, I already feel the energy coming back for me. You know what I'm saying? And then now I got to be out and I'm with my sons, and now I'm like, I'm reminding myself, remember, bro, you just, you know what I'm saying? You was dissing or you was talking shit, bro. Like, just because you got your kids, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean shit. Or you could be over here thinking it's Gucci and the whole time you being plotted on. So I'm trying to keep that energy as far away from me, you feel me, as possible. Cause I already done, you know what I'm saying, lost multiple niggas in my life due to gun violence and due to shit for the same shit, speaking shit to existence and, overindulging into that type of lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm a whole different person now. I got 3 boys and I got to think about every decision that I make. It got to be on them, you know what I'm saying? I think about my boys, think about my family, my future. So I try to find the balance too. It's not worth it for me, bro, to fucking be like, all right, fuck it, nigga, I'm gonna just diss a bunch of niggas and I'm gonna go over here and do this shit and do that and troll as much as I can and put some money behind the ad. Like, I'm gonna just get it out the mud, you know what I'm saying? Period.
Yeah. Look, at 51 years old, I've come to this conclusion. And this is my version of OG advice, right? People who are religious, they like to think that their fate is predetermined. Like, God knows when my last date is, and I don't know when it is. We all die, and that day is already predetermined before I'm even born. I disagree. I feel that every single day when you wake up, based on your decisions, you either push your death date farther or closer based on what you do that day. Right?
I agree with you.
If you decide to go to the park and cop some pills from the drug dealer who's hanging out there, that might be your last day. You might go and pop some fentanyl. I've had 5 people I interviewed die from fentanyl, right, over the years. That might be your last day. Or you might say, you know something, today I'm gonna eat really healthy and I'm gonna go to the gym. That might give you a few extra days in your life. And every day that happens. You either bring your death date a little closer or you push it away. So instead of thinking, well, it's out of my control, it's, God has already predetermined when I'm gonna die, instead think, it's up to you. You could live a long, fruitful life and live to 100 years old, or you could crash out and die in your 20s. And I've interviewed, at this point, 20 people that have died violently after my interviews. And this is over 16 years. And most of them are in their 20s and 30s. So that's just something I like putting out in the world when I do these types of interviews.
I agree with you for surely. Like, me personally, you know, I'm spiritual, so I do believe that, you know what I'm saying, I wouldn't say necessarily predetermined, but God knows for surely. He knows when I'm finna be coming. My time here on this earth is what I do with it. And I agree with you for that because, yes, it's more decision making. You know what I'm saying? Everything is decision making. I learned that over the years spending my time behind walls, you know, doing aggression training, you know, taking classes and not really putting my all into it, like paying attention, but actually soaking that shit in too. Everything is just decision making. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all it is. You feel me? I learned that.
It seems like your music, when I went through the catalog, you sample a lot of classic California songs.
Yeah, old school, man. You feel me?
Right.
That's my passion. That's
right.
That's what gave me my biggest influence.
Right. So, for example, one of your songs, you sample Funky Expedition by the Conscious Daughters.
Yeah. I know you know, because come on, Northern Cali.
I'm
come
from
on,
the Bay.
baby. Don't act like you don't know, Vlad.
I already know. You sampled Rappin' Forte, Players Club.
Come on. You know, I'm glad you brought this up, right? Because I was just telling my cousin the other day, I'm like, man, when they think of legends or like old school, you feel me, of that era, you know, it's always the Southern California, you know, the West Coast, like Ice Cube and MC8 and people of that sort. But I'm like, man, they don't know, like, you know, Northern California, you feel me, we got some too, you know what I'm saying? Bo, Spice One, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, Be Legit, the E40, the list goes on, like, so I'm glad you said that because, yeah, bro, that was like one of my main like influences, all that shit, because my brother, he would slap that shit a lot when I was young.
Well, yeah, but you also sample some LA classics like Tonight by the DJ Quik's Tonight was one of the samples I heard.
Yeah, off tops. The old school vibe, period. G-Funk, that shit, like hearing that shit when I was younger, like I always used to get down to the beats and I just used to feel it in my soul since a kid. So, you know, when I rap on them beats, it come like casual to me, you feel me? And not too many people really could spit that flow and come with that cadence to make you feel like, okay, this really sounds like some 80s shit. You feel me? Like, people use and mix and master beats all the time and reuse them, but not everybody could come on them. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, I mean, going through the catalog, I'm like, oh yeah, of course I know what this song is. Yeah, I haven't heard anyone sample Funky Expedition, especially. I'm like, I've never heard anyone sample that.
Hell
so
yeah.
Hearing that, I was like, I haven't heard this in a while. Like,
Hell yeah. Shout out to Conscious Daughters, man. Shit.
Conscious Daughters, exactly. You know, Bay Area legends. Well, that's what it is. Rico Too Smoove, man. Appreciate you coming in. You know, I always like to support, you know, the home team. I don't always get to because, unfortunately, the Bay doesn't have the same kind of music scene that LA, New York, and Atlanta has.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know, in fact, I remember me and E40 were talking about this at one point. It was like, E40 is like one of the only major rappers that actually stayed in the Bay. Most everyone else ends up moving at one point. You know, Too Short moved. You know, I moved. I'm not a rapper, but, you know, I'm a industry figure. Like a lot of people, they blow up in the Bay and then they go to a bigger city. So it's harder. It's harder because of that. But, you know, I always like when Bay Area rappers who are buzzing, you know, actually come to my platform because no matter where I live, no matter where I go, I always consider the Bay my home.
Hell yeah, you gotta bring it home with you, man. Come on.
Gotta bring it home.
You know what I'm saying? You know, and not just Bay, just Northern California, we got a whole different sauce. So, you know, bringing that everywhere you go, you know what I'm saying, to add a little sauce to wherever you at. But good looking, bro. Appreciate it.
Of course, man. Rico Too Smoove, man. I feel like you're still early in your career. I still feel like you have a lot to, you know, a lot to accomplish, a lot to do, but I feel like you have a good head on your shoulders. I like the fact that you're not out here crashing out, dissing everybody and so forth, because you know that that's a shortcut.
Yeah, I already know.
But it's sometimes a shortcut to the end. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes a shortcut gonna be a shortcut.
Yeah,
I'm already know.
Exactly. So, man, you know, love what you're doing, man. And, you know, looking forward to what you got coming up.
Yes, sir. You have a good one, bro.
You as well. Peace.
Yeah.